article that I really wanted to talk about is this one, and I'm not sure if you have seen that, but Fender is actually coming out with their own, loop switcher, and they call it the Switchboard. And what's interesting is that it kind of brings some of the features that we know from switches like the Musicom Lab or the Gig Rig, from the guy from Daniel Steinhardt, where you'll get a couple of this one has 5 programmable loops, but what you can do is, since it's possible to it's MIDI has MIDI capabilities and all of that, the cool thing you can do is you can switch them around. You can change the order on the inside, which is which is a nice thing for people who like to switch overdrive pedals in whatever direction. That's definitely a nice thing. According to this article, all the effects loops are true bypass and they're stereo. So these are stereo jacks.
Oh.
And that means you can actually essentially what you could do is you could either go with a stereo effect, or you could also put two effects in there. And I don't know what the price point was, but if I remember correctly, it was something like $450 US, which is
not too bad.
Fair. Yeah, which is fair. It looks like it's easy to operate, and it also seems that it's not that huge. It doesn't have such a big doesn't say anything about the dimensions though.
Does it mention anything about buffers? So
I'm trying to find
buffers for input and output.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to find that. So the Switchboard offers similar functionality to things like the Gig Rigs, G3 Atom, or the Boss ES range. It features 5 stereo true bypass effects loops that you can toggle and rearrange into any order. Once a patch has been made, you can save it into a bank for instant recall. Yeah, that's what these things normally do. Like other high-end switches, there's MIDI support for sending control messages through a more complex digital rig. Yeah, makes sense. As well as a foot switch jack for things like amplifier channel switching or tapping a tempo into an analog delay. You know what? Let's just find out on the manufacturer's website. Fender. There we go. Let's see if this has a buffer. No, I would like to stay on this side. Yeah, safe, whatever. So the price point. What? No, that's Fender Play.
Did you say 149?
Yeah, no, this is Fender Play annual subscription. That has nothing to do with the price of this thing.
Okay, I was I'm gonna order 2.
Yeah, 5. So 500 user presets. Let's see. True bypass effects loops. Okay. 100 favorite presets. Full color LCD screen, encoder knob. Doesn't say anything about switchable high fidelity input and output buffers. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
Integrated professional tuner. That's nice. And what else? Built-in movable volume pedal. Okay. How does that work?
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. So
an expression pedal, maybe?
Yeah, so you'll put an expression pedal here, and then you can put that and rearrange that within the chain, the internal chain. That's something that I think the ES8 from Boss or the ES series from Boss can do. I'm not so sure about the Gig Rig Atom. I know you can. It might be able to do so, but yeah. And one thing, it is designed with RJM music technology. I'm not sure if you are familiar with RJM.
No.
Is one of these companies that make these large solutions for guys like John Mayer or like some of these bigger acts where you have a ton of pedals and amplifiers to control, and then you have like a large controller in front of the stage. And that's what these guys do. They specialize in like high-end switching systems for professional use.
Okay.
Let's see if I can add this to my cart. I really want to find out what the price.
I noticed something else really interesting about this. It says that it's 9-volt DC, 500 milliamp. It's not that power hungry, meaning that if you're using something like a Chalk's DC5 or something like that, you can power this thing up quite easily.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 500 milliamps is very reasonable. 100%. Let's see if I can find a price. Yeah, but here it says $449 USD. So I think that's very reasonable. And
that's a fair price.
Yeah, and I really hope that the effects loops are better than the one on the Tone Master Pro, because those were like terrible to integrate external effects. But since RJM is involved, I trust and believe that thing is going to work fine.
I don't care much for the color. Like, I'm not usually big on the look of gear.
Yeah.
But this like beige, like really boring kind of color, it would have been cool to have other color option. Maybe that will come in the future. I think that's the only thing right now from what I'm seeing. It's the only thing I would like not like about this, but otherwise it looks like it's pretty user friendly. And for someone like myself who doesn't like to go deep into menu diving, it looks like they kept it like a rotary knob. I used to have, like back in the day, a Roland GP8, and that's how that worked. It's like you had to use a little rotary thing and then click in, and then you would set your stuff, and it looks less of a pain in the ass than that from what I can tell right now. But yeah, I could see myself going for that, because right now I have the Iguana tail from One Control. Yeah, I paid like 200 something for that, which is about half the price of what this guy goes for, and I don't have 1/10 of the functionality that this has. So I could see myself using something like this on a pedal board just to be able to, have more control over the routing, because with the Iguana tail, there's no routing. It's like whatever order you put them in, that's what you have, which is fine if you want to keep it super minimalistic. But if you want to do like, okay, do I want the tube screamer before the fuzz or after the fuzz, or you can't really do that without manually just changing the pedal order and putting all the cables back, which can be a pain in the ass. So if you're live and you're like, oh fuck, I don't have the right order on this pedal, you can just go in and just switch it up with something like this, which is for the price point, I think pretty fair.
Yeah, 100%. What and I agree. I mean, there are these very simple loop switches. Some of them even like relay switching based, so they're like super silent, and you won't hear noise when you switch pedals on and off. And yeah, obviously with these simple solutions, you do not have additional options like rearranging the order. You need something programmable with like some sort of a mixing matrix, which is usually backed up by some processing power in order to pull that off. What's more important is the signal integrity. I think that is key. You want your sound to be 100% unchanged if you have 0 pedals engaged. That's number one. That's the whole reason why you do that. You want to take stuff that you don't need out of the signal path. So that's one thing. And I think that's even more important than anything else, because that's like the basis to begin with. And then everything else, yeah, I agree. $450 is an absolute fair price point for this thing brings.
Yeah.
The color, it's this kind of beige, like almost faded gold, kind of anodized thing. I'm not a fan of it either, but yeah,
it's a small detail, right?
it's a yeah, exactly. Visuals usually, no, that's a question of taste.